We're back. It's Ryan from Proof by Definition, here with Ryan Weber. And we're going to be talking a little bit about nutrition. We just finished up on physique. He's a physique competitor, as you would know if you watched the last video. Link's right here. So let's get started on nutrition. What I found very interesting is that you're not an advocate of dairy. And that is very, very foreign to me. I love drinking milk. I love eating ice cream. So, let's talk about that.
Well, a couple different things about dairy. When I found out, a buddy of mine really got big into the whole paleo diet, and I may not quote this specifically or entirely right, so you may want to check it out. But he said that there's actually something in the dairy that can actually produce and mimic some of the more harmful cells in our body. Now again, you want to maybe kind of check into this. I cannot remember the exact terminology, but basically what happened was this. I was actually having some issues with my blood pressure, and blood pressure, hypertension, high blood pressure actually ran in my family. And you know, for as much as I worked out and ate healthy and did all these different things, you know, there's no way my blood pressure should have been where it was. It wasn't extremely high, but it was like more pre-hypertensive, and it was starting to bother me. So you know, I talked with my parents about it. My whole family's medical, and you know, they're saying you got to get medication, all this other stuff. And I'm like, I'm way too young. I'm not going to do that. So just to kind of appease them and myself, I went to the doctor, got my blood pressure checked, and the first blood pressure they took was a little bit high, I think because I was nervous, but then it stopped. I'm sorry, it actually dropped and it was low. He looked at me and he goes, you know what, I don't think you need medication yet, let's just monitor and check it out and see what happens. So during that time I was actually going through a transition in my diet. With paleo I cut out a lot of the processed sugars and processed foods, and I cut out dairy. I used to drink milk probably a gallon every couple days. I loved milk. I ate yogurt probably 2-3 times a day. I still eat eggs and cheese. I would have cheese on just about everything. So what I did was I pretty much cut out most cheese, unless I had a cheat meal, you know, a cheeseburger or a pizza. I'd still eat it then. I cut out milk completely, as far as like, you know, milk from cow milk. I still do drink almond milk, and that's about the only kind of milk I drink right now. Yogurt, although there are some still good things about yogurt and sour cream and things like that, I cut it out. I just got to the point where, like, you know what, I don't need it. A lot of it has a lot of extra and added sugar, so it had to go. Between cutting out the refined and processed sugars and the dairy, I'd say within maybe 3 weeks' time, my blood pressure dropped significantly. I wasn't as sore after my workouts. I was sleeping better. I used to get these kind of flush feelings every once in a while throughout the day. Never knew what it was, still don't know what the heck it was. But when I quit drinking regular milk and taking out the dairy and the sugar, it stopped. I feel so much better. I really can't tell you exactly what the science is behind that. All I can say is, you know what, I heard about it, I tried it, for me it really worked. The other thing about dairy, when I started competing, my trainer told me that dairy can actually help you retain more water, and builds up a thin layer of like water or fat underneath the skin. So if you're trying to get into peak shape, peak condition for a show, it's one of those things, just like sugar, you gotta cut out. Okay. So I did. So that flush feeling that you're talking about, was that like a feeling of exhaustion? No, I actually, like, you know, sounds funny, but I just like kind of get a little bit red. My ears would get really hot, I get a little bit red. Almost felt like I had a headache or something like that. Now some people say, oh, well, it's because your blood pressure was high, you could feel it. You know what, I have to disagree with that. I don't think... People, again, will have different perspectives on how they view, you know, your blood pressure and everything else. Because I would check it at those times, and it was consistent, it was the same. It just, for whatever reason, I don't know. It's kind of a weird thing, but it worked. So you did it, and it worked. I did it, and it worked, so I'm going to keep doing it. So that's all you need. Right. All right, what would you say is the must? This is a very vague question. What would you say is what you must do to meet your goals? Let's split this up. Let's split it up into building muscle and losing fat. So what would you say you must do, any person must do, to build muscle in regards to diet? Nutrition. Okay. Well, again, a couple of different schools of thought. If you want to add on muscle mass, some people say you have to be, you know, taking in extra calories, more calories than you're actually going to consume throughout the day. Some people say no, you can actually still be in a caloric deficit because you're going to shed fat, but if you keep your protein high enough and you work out with the right intensity and you supplement with the right nutrition, you can still gain lean muscle mass. So it depends on how you're going to look at it and how you want to kind of tweak it. So if you all out just want to gain a whole bunch of muscle, let's say you're in a bulking season, I would say most likely you're probably going to stay more in excess caloric intake. So taking more calories than you're actually going to burn. But you can do a clean bulk or you can do a dirty bulk. So a clean bulk would be, rather than eating a cake.
Yeah. Just eating anything in sight.
Right. You have 2 cups of jasmine rice or white rice, still with like some steak or a lean protein, compared to taking a huge mass gainer protein shake, mixed in with a scoop of ice cream, and a few slices of cake and Cheetos. Hey, if it fits your macros, I'm bulking, bro. I see the picture of the fat kid online. It's okay because I'm bulking. Right. So, but what you really want to do is you still want to kind of eat smart, eat clean, but cheating more is definitely acceptable in that realm. If you want to gain protein, if you want to gain more lean muscle mass, you need to consume and put in more protein. I look at it like this, the best example. You have a house right here and a house right here in a new development. You're going to build a house here in a second. It's the 3rd house. In order to build a new house, something that's not there, you cannot take material from this house and this house and all of a sudden have a whole new house. You have to go to the store, get a whole bunch of extra material, drop it off, so for a while you have all this excess laying around at the construction site. Well, through some hard work and dedication, lo and behold, that excess material turns into this house. So you have a house, and a new house. It's the same way it works in your body. You cannot expect to build new muscle and not put in the right nutrients. So if you just put in a whole bunch of carbs and a whole bunch of fat, and you think you're going to build lean muscle mass, if you're blessed with great genetics, more power to you. But most likely, you're going to want to keep that protein high, keep carbohydrates high, keep fats in check, relatively healthy fats, and then build from there. So what I recommend, probably protein, at least 1 gram per pound per body weight, if not 1.5. Some people even go as far as saying 2. Just depends on you. Carbohydrates, you can go anywhere from I kind of base things off of body weight or rounding up. So, at least your body weight to maintain. If you want to gain, probably double that, maybe even, triple it. It just totally depends. You got to kind of find where that threshold is for you. Now, maybe that's the most scientific way to explain it, but in reality of how it really happens, it's great to read the muscle magazines and all these articles and say, hey, building muscle mass while burning fat. Yes, you can do it. It's hard work. It also takes a little bit of just being genetically blessed. So the easiest way to describe it is if you want to build more, you have to put in more. You have to put in excess. And then when you want to go ahead and burn fat, you want to be at a caloric deficit. But again, at this point especially, it's really key on the nutrients you take in. You still want to keep your protein high. So I would say, 1 to 1.5, maybe 2, depending on who you are. I think 2 might be a little bit high for that. But then carbohydrates. Carbohydrates will definitely drop significantly in the type of carbohydrates you're going to take in. Again, you want to take in something more lower glycemic, sweet potatoes, brown rice, oats, and not the instant stuff you get from the store, but get the old-fashioned stuff you actually cook up. Steel-cut oats, even better. Every time you increase, from processed to sugary to the starchy to old-fashioned and steel-cut, your GI index actually drops. So definitely look up the GI index, good thing to know, and your fats. You still have to take in fat. Fat is a hormonal calorie. It's needed for so many different processes that happen in the body. It's also known as the steroid hormone. Not that you're going to be taking steroids, it's just that you need it for the different processes and things that happen in the body, and for the body to do its thing as far as burning fat and also increasing the muscle mass.
Cool.
So without getting too off in the tangent, did that answer your question?
Yeah, for sure. When you talk about the GI index, would you say that necessarily matters if you're eating an entire meal with proteins and fats in there, or would you say that's more important if you're eating a carbohydrate by itself? Because there's a lot of debate that says the type of carb doesn't really matter. Mark Lobliner says the GI index is bullshit.
Sure.
So if you're eating an entire meal, what do you think? Do you think that it necessarily matters?
No, I think that's an absolute great point, and you're really smart for bringing that up. I will purposely, if I take a protein shake, sometimes throw in some, flax oil or a banana or something like that to mix it up if it's only just protein. Reason being, because when you mix any other nutrients, that protein is going to absorb a little bit slower. So if the protein absorbs slower, why wouldn't the same thing work for carbohydrates? And you're right, a lot of the times you're not going to sit down and just have a full-on carbohydrate meal, unless you don't know any better. But anybody who's into health and fitness, building muscle, burning fat, they're not going to do that. They look at nutrition as fuel for the body.
Yeah.
It's protein, carbohydrates, fats, mixed in with some fiber. It's not, okay, protein this meal, carbohydrates this meal, fats this meal. Unless you're on some sort of a peak week prep or a competition prep, then you might do some things that are a little bit wild and off the wall, but you're also under the guidance, hopefully, of a nutrition coach, someone who knows what they're doing, someone who has experience, is educated. Make sure you do pick a good coach if you pick one, and you can go about it that way. But you're right, most of the time you're going to mix things together. So does it really matter? I would say it probably goes both ways. Okay. If you're just going to, again, eat rice, brown rice compared to cake all the time, and think, well, if I eat cake, it's carbohydrates, I'm mixing it with my protein shake and my avocado, so obviously it's not going to have any effect on my body composition. I mean, come on, get real.
Yeah,
practice some common sense.
You're missing out on the micronutrients too as well when you do that, so I feel like that's very important for optimal body function.
Because even though it does all work together, it does still break down in the body at a different rate, and it has different reactions in the body. So practice some common sense.
Yeah. Speaking of common sense, what do you think is the unknown aspect of nutrition? Things that most people who go to the gym or even competitors don't really know that's very important about nutrition.
That's a huge shot in the dark.
Yeah, it is.
But
really.
Thinking about that, it's a lot of the time people think, if you wrote down what you ate and what you drank and when you did it throughout the day, you'd probably be shocked. A lot of people want to say, hey Ryan, I want to get in shape. What should I eat here? How much should I do here? I say, okay, if you want to gain weight, if you want to gain lean muscle mass, you want to bulk, you have to eat more. If you want to lose, you have to eat less. And you say, oh, well, you know what? I eat this, and I eat this, and I eat that. And it's kind of like, well, you know what? It's probably not enough, or it's probably too much. If you write down, whenever I have somebody write down what they eat and when they drink, usually by the second day, they're calling me up saying, oh my gosh, I did not notice this, I didn't see this, I thought I ate more than this, I really didn't eat that much. Or, oh my God, Ryan, it's noon and I've already eaten 4 meals and I feel like a cow and I can see what you mean, I have to slow down. Those are both, they're huge eye-openers for people. And again, the next thing too is what they eat. Well, Ryan, I went to McDonald's and I got a chicken salad with some honey Dijon dressing. Okay, well, guess what? Your honey Dijon dressing from McDonald's probably had about, 30 grams of fat.
Yeah.
And maybe 60, depending on how many servings were actually in the salad dressing, if you look. And then chicken. Okay, chicken from McDonald's or chicken from the grocery store. You can tell the quality of a food, I think, by the way it digests in your body. And you guys know what I'm talking about. If you go to McDonald's and you eat something, and 3-4 hours later you're still burping it up, it's kind of gross. It's not digesting. It's not breaking down in the body. It's something different. You pair that with some brown rice, some greens, green beans, whatever, peas, not peas, but green beans, broccoli, and some lean chicken from the grocery store. Guarantee in about 2.5 to 3 hours you're hungry, that food's pretty much digested. Your energy level is also going to be different. You're going to feel different. So again, not all food, not all nutrients, not all food is created the same, because they're nutrient dense and some are just nutrient deficient. Okay. So choose wisely. Yeah,
I agree with what you were saying before. I can't tell you how many times I've been talking to someone at the gym, they're like, yeah, I can't gain weight. I ask them, how much you eat? Yeah, I eat 5,000 calories a day. Do you count your calories? No. Well, how do you know how many calories you're eating?
Yeah, 3 protein shakes, a bowl of cereal, and a chicken breast will not do it.
Yeah, seriously. Well, dude, I had 8 eggs for breakfast. All right, what'd you have for the rest of the day? Oh, I didn't eat lunch. And then I was busy, so I couldn't eat that much for dinner. It's like,
right.
Yeah, okay.
The excuse to start the flow.
Yeah. Seriously. All right, that about wraps it up for nutrition. Is there anything you want to add to that, or do you think you covered everything?
No, that's pretty much it. Definitely, any kind of ideas we talk about, feel free to check some other sources and see what's going to work for you. But definitely, I think everything we're here talking about now is just kind of like common sense. So
yeah. And if you find that we were saying anything wrong, or you want to debate anything, comment, and I'll reply. I'll get in touch with Ryan, see what he wants to say about it, and
absolutely,
it's all in the air.
Cool.
All right, so next is philosophy. So we're going to get a little deep here. Click on the link here to look at the philosophy video. See you guys. Thanks.
Thanks, guys. What do you think? All right?
Yeah, they're getting better and better every time.
Yeah.